What was that? What was that? What was that? What is The Mandalorian? What is the show? This is bull. Hey everyone, Hux Darwin here. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, I haven't made a video in a while. It's been a rough couple days, but I'm back. So thank you everybody for again subscribing, watching, liking. I really do appreciate it. But we have to jump straight. We gotta talk about my thoughts after immediately watching The Mandalorian season 3, episode 6. Wow. Sorry to say, Star Wars is dead. I started Star Wars channel and Star Wars is dead. I don't know what happened. This episode was just, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna do a brief breakdown just to cover what happened. I'll give you my thoughts afterwards. So this episode starts on a spaceship filled by Quarian, I guess, and it's very Star Trek-like for some reason. The female captain sat in a chair, gave orders similar to Picard or Kirk in Star Trek for some reason. And there we see the Mandalorians who stole Moff Gideon's ship and just demanded to take a boyfriend from this female captain, this female Korean captain, and the boyfriend was Mon Calamari. The Mandalorians wanted the boy back, so they went for him, and the episode starts this way for some reason. Sure. Immediately after that, we jump to Bo-Katan and Din just flying to this new planet, I guess. And they're talking about the Mandalorians that were there. They're the same Mandalorians that we saw from the beginning of the episode. Things to note, yes, sure, it was the Mandalorians that we saw on season 2. The Mandalorian male, which honestly I don't really care for his name at this point. It's 4 in the morning, I don't care. But we see Mercedes Money there as her Mandalorian character there as well. So, alright, interesting little throwback there. Jumping back again, Bo and Din get to this planet, and it's a very opulent planet. It's a planet with people full of money, and they get into this pod. The pod tells them that the royalty wishes to see them for some reason, so they get whisked away. And there we see Jack Black and Lizzo. I don't know who Lizzo is, unfortunately. I know Jack Black, but like the tone of the episode just at this point just completely sank totally. I'm saying, look, I love Jack Black. He's an amazing actor. But once you see an actor that you recognize from something else in Star Wars, that creates a massive disconnect, at least to me. It's just disconnected. And from here on out, the episode just went off the rails. And not in a good way. So basically, Jack Black was this former Imperial commander. He was reformed and he was sent to this planet, and he fell in love with the princess there, and now they're king and queen of this planet, and they have a bunch of old Clone Wars droids that they use for basically their every need. So in this planet, nobody works. Everybody just lives, just not working, and the droids do all the work. But turns out some of these droids are malfunctioning and they're causing harm, and they're having accidents with people, and they're getting concerned. But since Jack Black was a former Imperial, their planet cannot have a police force or an army or anything like that. So they called the Mandalorians to help them. But then they used Din and Bo to help them get rid of the droids that are malfunctioning for some reason. I mean, they had a whole garrison of Mandalorians, and they can't use them. But they want to use these 2 other Mandalorians because weapons are their religion, and not the other ones, but these ones in specific, I guess. So we go on to this side quest, really. This is a side quest from a video game or something. This is so odd. So they go exploring. They ask a shipping droid, which turned out is an old battle droid from the Clone Wars, which, funny enough, sure, it was the voice of the battle droids from Clone Wars. That's pretty neat, I guess. Then starts kicking off another droid, goes haywire. They go after him. At all these points, Bo-Katan looks strong, then looks like a fool, just stumbling, running around, just makes no sense. So they're able to stop the droid. You think Din shot him, but technically it was Bo-Katan, as usual, because this is the book of Bo-Katan, unfortunately. And from there, they figure out that this droid went to a droid bar for some reason, and they go to a droid bar, and it's full of droids, and it's a bar, which again, it's a droid bar. Why? The droid bartender is telling them, like, look, like, we give them, like, this kind of drink, I guess. I don't know. And from there, they go and they find more information on stuff like that. And from there, they go visit the security officer for the planet, which turned out to be Christopher Lloyd. It's Doc himself. It's Doc Brown. Very cool, but then again, very useless. We all speculated he was going to be like an old Mandalorian or something, and they used him for this for some reason. Sure. Turns out he has this little button that he can turn off all the droids, but he rather not to, because then, like, their life of just pretty much not doing anything is gonna stop. So he doesn't push the button. Sure, that makes sense. They go to see the droid that Din attacked when Bo-Katan finished off, I guess, in droid morgue, because this show just makes no sense anymore. From there, scientist extracts, I'm assuming it's oil, and turns out there are nanomachines inside of the droids that they are serving. They serve these droids some sort of oil that has some nanomachines, and that makes them go haywire, I guess. So they start poking around. They find out it's Doc Brown's work. Doc Brown is the one that is making the droids malfunction. So Din and Bo arrest him, and they take him back to Jack Black and Lizzo. Jack Black and Lizzo banish him from the planet, sure. And then they give Bo-Katan the keys to the city, and they knight Grogu, which is an afterthought in this episode. He just stayed with Jack Black and Lizzo, and he helped them play croquet. I don't know. They play some weird game. It's like a throwing like an animal through a hoop, and Grogu uses the Force, and the Queen wins, and everybody's like super happy. It's why. So after this whole thing, they go and they talk to the Mandalorians, and turns out the Mandalorian from season 2 that was with Bo-Katan is now their leader. And you see in their Mercedes Monet character, her Mandalorian there, and all just disappointed, I guess all of us were in this episode. So we'll take that. Bo-Katan from there decides to challenge him to take control of these Mandalorians again, which she wins. And then all of a sudden, the guy that lost said to Bo-Katan, look, we're not going to follow you. You're not Mandalore. Like, this guy's not even like a true Mandalorian, and he has a Darksaber, and you don't have anything. Here, Din speaks up, says, look, I was defeated by a monster. I lost a Darksaber. Bo-Katan defeated him. She grabbed the Darksaber. So she's the rightful owner. Hands her the Darksaber again. Why not? And the episode ends with Bo-Katan just turning on the Darksaber, looking in front of all the other Mandalorians. Everybody's like, oh. And the episode ends. I cannot believe that I watched this. What is this season? Again, where's the story? Why on chapter 6, on an 8-episode season, are we focusing on a side story of a side story for this? Din Djarin isn't even a character in this episode. Like, he's barely there to begin with. And then he hands over the Darksaber. Look, it's fine. Storytelling-wise, Bo-Katan was going to end up being Mandalorian anyway. We all knew that. That's cool. But there was no battle. There wasn't anything like amazing. There was a bit of a scruffle, I guess, between Bo and the other Mandalorian. And that was it. what's going on? This is unacceptable. Like, this isn't even close to Star Wars. Like, what's happening in this show? If recent rumors are to be believed, Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm CEO, was heavily involved in the season. And based on this episode, I can definitely tell she was. I mean, we all remember the Book of Boba Fett. We all remember the Power Ranger motorcycle group. They were on Tatooine, but their bikes were clean and they were clean while everybody else was dirty. Yeah, this has Kathleen Kennedy all over it. This is just atrocious. This is not Star Wars. This doesn't even come close. But wow, what is this? We have 2 episodes left in this season. 2 episodes. What are we gonna see? I'm assuming at this point they're gonna go to Mandalore. We're gonna have a 2-parter episode with the Mythosaur, and they're overcoming in, and you have all the Mandalorians in there, and then Bo-Katan either defeats it or writes it or whatever at this point. Who cares? And then this season's gonna wrap and nothing happened. This is just terrible. I can definitely tell why Pedro Pascal went to do The Last of Us. Like, after watching this episode, it was atrocious. This is not acceptable. It doesn't matter if you're a newer Star Wars fan or you're an old school Star Wars fan or you got into it at some point. This is not acceptable. This is just not good. This felt like something that Disney puts out to make everyone happy. And I don't think everyone's going to be happy with this episode. I don't know what's happening with this season. I don't know what's happening with Jon Favreau, because Jon Favreau wrote this episode. This was terrible. Like, this whole season has been terrible. I'm trying to remain myself optimistic here, and maybe that they would come up with a better solution just to fix this, but at this point, I don't think they will. Why? Why did this happen? On episode 6, if this would have been like episode 2, fine, whatever. We have the rest of the season to look forward to. But episode 6? Come on, guys. Why are we dropping the ball like this? We have to wait over 2 years to get the next season of The Mandalorian. You guys give us this? I can't believe we had to wait over 2 years so we can get this season. And this is just not acceptable. Am I overreacting? What do you guys think about this episode? I'm very interested in reading your comments on this one. Go ahead, drop me a comment down below. I'm really interested in reading what you guys think on this episode. For me, I have to give this a 0 out of 10. This is just not acceptable. So, once again, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to getting into some discussion regarding this episode. Until next time, my friends, thank you for stopping on my corner of the internet. Have a good rest of your day.